completely mad?
No, you're insane!
Hello and welcome to the Madhouse, episode 58. I'm Ultimate Spy 53, your host, and I have with me Lucas this week. Say hello. So unfortunately, this week will be a little we wanted to do like a little mini episode sort of because most people in the show are gone this week for some reason. I don't even know. I tried to get a hold of every other member, but no one says anything. People who have said anything, they say they can't do it for some unknown reason. Frustrating, yes, but I can't really do anything about it because they won't bother to answer me. So we're gonna have to do this on our own. So a topic that I've been really interested in talking about has been the process of filmmaking because when I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I actually caught up in knowing how they would I saw it go into production, and then I saw it being filmed, and then I saw it said on Facebook wrap production, and then I saw it, and then months and months of that I just kept watching it until it finally came out, and I've been wondering what it goes into that, and also a TV show, how it gets a pile picked up. Like TV shows have been going on for nearly 30 years, like The Simpsons. Like how did that even happen? It's always been a mystery to me. So start us off. What do you think is the step one of the process of making a movie?
Probably writing the script.
Yeah.
That gives you a place to go.
Yeah, get screenwriters. I think you gotta get have a director. You have a movie. What is it gonna be about? You gotta have a plot. Screenwriters. You gotta have writers, producers.
I mean, from what I understand, sometimes it'll be like a sequel will be in pre-production before they actually have a writer.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But most of the time, I'd assume that it's the script comes before anything else.
Like for example, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has been an ongoing fan thing. It's been a huge thing in the movie universe or movie world. Well, there's movie universe, whatever. And they have been they have this whole slate of movies called phases, and a lot of the movies they'll develop it, and then it'll say pre-production, meaning they're casting people because you can't have a movie without actors. I mean, you can't. You just have to have actors.
Cartoon.
That's true. There's also animated movies, but you still, even with that, you have to have voice acting. And then I feel like you gotta have a budget. You can't just you have to rent out a set. Like if you're making a movie that's set in New York, you're gonna have to rent out several streets of New York. Buy out that area from someone who owns New York or owns New York. And that costs a lot of money to do, so you're probably gonna have a budget. For example, Avengers, the new Avengers movies, they have a budget of $1 billion, which is a lot of money to spend money on. It's a lot for both movies combined. It's $1 billion.
They're betting a lot on that. You're doing well.
A superhero movie, I would expect to be really, cost a lot of money to actually make. I mean, some movies out there, they cost a lot of money, a lot. And some of the movies I've seen out there, I think there was a movie called Max Steel that ended up being a complete shithole, and it scored. The budget was $10 million, and it only made $6 million, and it was. It has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, which means it is crap. It is complete, utter shit. Worse than Last Airbender. Movie that we've talked about a lot on this show. But I feel like you gotta have a location. You gotta have different locations because you'll see a movie and it'll kind of show off different locations. And that's a good part because you don't have to make a movie. You can't have just one location because that's boring. That's never the good thing to have. And you have to for example, a lot of movies they have different.
I guess it depends on the kind of movie.
Yeah.
But generally, one location would be kind of.
It's true. Yeah, and then some of the movies you have CGI, practical effects, green screen. I think too much green screen can kind of be a little weird because it's like oh my god, this movie scene, it looks amazing. Oh, behind the scenes, it's green screen. I did not know that. And it's they fill you with green screen. It's oh my god, the whole time. I thought this was a great special effect. Turns out it's nothing. It's like a screen. Like Star Wars, they were filming green screen the entire time. And that made fans really annoyed.
Being an actor on the Star Wars prequels would have been the weirdest thing ever. Because, like, the Kenoans or whatever, they were just like a green ball on a stick held by a guy in a green jumpsuit.
Oh my god. I think one of the worst things that ever happened, I think I did I think I did a Hobbit review, and one of the worst one of the worst makings of that movie was in Lord of the Rings, because they had this scale issue with Gandalf and the Hobbits, and the dwarves or whatever. So they had to like figure out how they were going to get them to scale, and then Peter Jackson was really good at that, and he made it look good. And Hobbit trilogy's like, he's just lazy. He's like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this crap. Let's just have tennis balls on a stick with the doors faces down, and just have Ian in the room, and then we can do that. And have separate studios. So he'll be here, and the doors will be here, and he'll record his lines, and they'll record over here. And it was the worst idea ever. No, that's just.
But like Lord of the Rings was super clever. How they did all like the perspective tricks with the camera. So
that is very true. Yeah. But I feel like you have to have a good script, because some people have.
Yeah.
Some actors have literally read the script and said they can't do it, or a movie like Green Lantern where the actor literally hated the script. He's like, I'm saying this stuff in this movie? Gotta be kidding me. So that's an example of a movie that I didn't hate it, but I also wasn't a big fan of it, because I will agree it wasn't the best movie I've seen. I definitely didn't hate it, but it was a movie that I kind of regret seeing, because it wasn't that good. You know, it was okay, but it was just like, it could have been better. I think, I had the one.
I saw Green Lantern, but I heard very bad things about it.
I think that the one thing about making movies, having a good script, because if you don't have a good script, you're not gonna get anywhere. It's like your actor reads the script, like, I read the script and I hated it. Like, I'm not saying this crap. You gotta be kidding me. This is some of the cheesiest dialogue I've ever heard. I'm not saying that. And then it's like, here's a script. Yeah, I like this. I'll say that. You know, that's a big thing. Let's see. Well, I mean, there's.
Script.
I feel like there's.
Salvage that.
Yeah, I feel like there's a difference between movies and television, because with television, you have more hours. With movies, you film over a course of several months. Or some movies that I'm really hating, where they'll film, their movie doesn't come out until the end of next year, and they film early, and then they wrap up like not even halfway through that current year. It's like, so we got about a year and a half of post production to go. First trailer drops early in the next year. You gotta be kidding me! Seriously? That's what Star Wars Episode 8 was about. They filmed way too early. I understand about movies filming a year in advance. They do that for a reason. That's the whole reason for filming that in advance, because you gotta film it for a long time, like several months, and then you got post production takes a long time. I mean, it doesn't really seem like it does, but honestly, when you think about it, all the stuff that goes into making a movie takes a long time.
There's a lot of, but like the editing process takes a big chunk of time, and then you have like any CG special effects that you add after the fact, you have to have the animators doing that. And I can't imagine that's an easy job.
Like if you, for example, the Hulk, which is a very popular MCU character, that is entirely motion capture. That, like, Mark Ruffalo, he does the facial stuff, and he's the kid in the motion capture, but that, like, if you see a movie, and it's like, you see the movie without a pre-rendered Hulk, it's like, what am I watching? I'm Mark Ruffalo in a motion capture suit? Really? And it looks so awkward. It's like, what am I seeing? Ugh. But that's the reason why they add the post-production. That's why it takes all that time. You got, visual effects, special effects, soundtrack. Soundtrack is important, because you gotta have that mood. Credits, after credits, before credits, that stuff. Sound. Sound is a big thing. Lightsabers and Star Wars. You gotta have a lightsaber, because if you don't have sound, it's like, well, what do? Suddenly a light pops up. What?
Yeah, like Yeah, like Star Wars, I imagine in particular, you really have to nail the sound effects nowadays because they're like so iconic.
It's like yeah, and then it's like if you don't have that, or have you have the complete different sound, it's like my lightsaber pops out. It's like what was that? That wasn't a sound. Like let's get this is what the sound a lightsaber makes. That's it.
With like those little plastic toys you get at like
stores, yeah.
Or whatever, they do like a little sound.
Like it's like really? That's what a lightsaber sound makes? You know what? Come to my studio. I'll show what a lightsaber sounds like. Yeah, and you get like this awesome sound. It's like that's how lightsabers should sound. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the movies I've seen where they film a year in advance. That's the reason why they do it, because you have to get a script, you gotta get a screenwriter, you gotta get a director, because a lot of movies I've seen, the director will drop out. Well, they will not do it. I don't know why it takes forever to make a movie. Like, I think the Batman movie, the new one, that's being in production right now, that movie is taking, I think it's finally gotten a director, or I think the Suicide Squad 2 movie finally got a director after all this time. I feel like that's the most important thing for a movie to ever have is a director. Like Captain Marvel, that movie is coming out in 2 years. That movie also finally got a director. I mean, that's important. The important thing is the director, because you can't have a movie without a director. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like a director makes the movie happen. Without the director, there is no movie. I mean, that's the truth.
Well, yeah, but the director directs the production. I mean, they're literally in the name.
That's true. I feel like with television shows, it's a lot. I mean, it's the same process, but it takes less time with post production, because you get like with post production with television shows, you only need like a few days or maybe in a couple weeks or so. But with a movie, it's like over the course of several months of making a movie, and with
well, yeah, usually there's less special effects in TV, like CGI and whatever, just because of how much time and money that takes.
For example, I saw a video of the worst CGI effects in CW's The Flash, which is a really, really good show, even if you don't read comics. And some of the stuff that they put.
Watch that.
Yeah, it's a good show, but some of the stuff that they do where they'll put the Flash, Grant Gustin's character. They'll make him CGI in certain scenes where he's traveling at speed so fast that they need to make a CGI version of the character. Sometimes, when you're making a show like The Flash, the CGI can look terrible, and that's some of the times when filmmaking, CGI looks awful. Like I think the Scorpion King. I was watching a video about Dwayne Johnson and the Scorpion King. That character, he was the likeness of Dwayne Johnson, but his face is completely CG. It's like, oh my god, you serious? This is the best you can do. I mean,
it's like the 2005 Doctor Who.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
I love that show, but the CG in that is so bad.
Well, in the early episodes, yeah, but like, I mean, the example of Doctor Who, that's the show that was off the air for a long time, and they finally brought it back, and even then it was like shot in like a year in advance, and a lot of the special effects are high budget, but even with TV shows, you get more time with things. Like a movie, so that's the difference between making a movie and making a television show. Making a movie, it's over the course of several months, getting a director. Some of the process with a TV show is not hard, but like with a movie, it's a lot harder. But with a television show, you get a lot more time. You get hours of entertainment. With movies, you get only a couple hours or more. Maybe an hour or a half, or in Peter Jackson's case, like 3 hours. Because, like, seriously, I was watching the King Kong movie. Seriously, his movies are like 3 hours plus. It's like, I think I remember The Return of the King being 4.5 hours extended version. I'm not kidding. Like, his movies are great, yet they are fantastic, but they're way too long. That's why he's split into 2 discs. Like, it's like you finish one day, it's like the story continues on disc 2, and it's like 12 o'clock. It's like I'm going to bed. it's like
watching the extended cut of Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's seriously like marathoning a TV show.
Exactly. It's like
similar amount
okay, it's 9:30 and I'm gonna watch Return of the King. It's like, wow, it's 12:30. Oh, this one's over. Okay, let's go to bed.
Later.
That's the reason why with Peter Jackson, when he makes movies that long, I mean, it takes. I mean, I think the that one a good franchise where he shot them back to back, 3 movies back to back. That's exhausting. I mean, that's one of the best franchises I've seen ever, and it's fantastic movie franchise. And it took the longest time to make because it was 1 year after the next.
So.
But I think the good thing with
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
But like how much you did practically.
Yeah.
Like, special effects wise, how much you did practically.
Yeah,
and
of course.
How much, there's still a ton of CGI after that, and then like each movie was like 4 hours.
Well, nearly 4 hours. Yeah, I think Return of the King ended up being 4 hours and 21 minutes long. I think, according to the back of the Blu-ray, at the back of the Blu-ray, if you count the I think it's 220 something minutes. It's like you cut that in hours. That's like 4 hours and 20 something minutes. Like, that's crazy. I mean, it's worth it.
They were based off of pretty thick books.
Yeah,
so
they're long, but like I think a movie like I know another step of this process is getting good casting, because if you don't have good casting, I mean, there are some movies out there that have good casting, but they end up being atrocious movies. Like, for example, well, not really an example, but like a movie that has, it's okay, but it was still really bad, and that's especially when you take it based out of an animated cartoon, like Hint Hint: The Last Airbender, which was that show was good, but the movie was
just the worst.
I was so disappointed, and I know we've talked about it on Madhouse before. There's a reason for it, because we can't, us nerds can't stop talking about that. The movie is so bad. It's like, Tom, stop talking about The Last Airbender. We don't care. Like, I can't help it. It's so bad. It's like,
I care. That is the worst movie I have ever seen.
But it's laughably funny. It's like, it's so bad it's funny. It's like, oh my god.
No, it's not even.
They just ruined it. They just made fun of it. It's like, ugh. But that's an example of really bad casting and making a movie that's like,
right.
The bad script, I don't even know about the writing, but everything, the CGI, the casting was so bad. Like, they got, I think
the writing was pretty bad.
I mean, I still ain't everything great about, and they actually corrected some of the stuff that, I mean, yeah, the score, I think the music is what makes them.
The score was good.
Yeah, the score was good, because like some movies, that's the most important thing about a movie is the score, and that's what a big part of making a movie is, having good music soundtrack. Because if you don't have any soundtrack, it's like, what am I watching? Like in the early days of Doctor Who, they had like some of the episodes had like no soundtrack. It's like, this is so dull. Yeah. It's like, but also when you finally finish filming the movie, and that takes over several months is filming a movie. I think like Daredevil, which is a brutal show, that took 6 months to film, which is insane. It's a lot of time to film a Marvel show. But you have to have enough time to make a movie. Like, for example, a movie that I'm not going to see, and I've talked about it before because I hate the idea of it, is the new Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, which took 2 months to film. 2 months.
Okay.
That's a lot of time, but also it looks terrible. And if you want to know why, check out the episode where we talk about it, because I have a really good reason why I talk about that. But like, post-production, like filming a movie, and then post-production, it's like, why do some movies wrap up so early? Well, post-production takes a long time. If you think about it takes a long time to edit a movie. Like, seriously, you got a movie that has thousands upon thousands of hours of filming, of like footage, and then you have to edit that down to like maybe 2 hours, 90 minutes, something like that. It's
you have to find the right shot, the one that was, the best, and then you have to decide what you're going to keep, what you're going to cut.
Exactly.
Oh, maybe this should go in this order instead of that order, or...
Yeah. I mean, also, like, deleted scenes. It's like, why are the deleted scenes on this disc? Why can't they be in the movie? Well, do you want this movie to be 3 hours long? No. Then, there you go. Do you want this movie to be like several more hours long because they got like 20 minutes of deleted scenes? It's like, no? Well then, there's your answer. It's like, the answer to that is they put the deleted scenes on this. Like,
yeah,
what?
I remember like I remember watching the commentary on the deleted scenes, and I think it was the third Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
The third prequel movie, anyways, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
And he mentioned how, like, they cut one of the deleted scenes because they'd have to spend time introducing and, like, building up a character.
Yeah.
To make the death impactful, and it would have added, like, 40 minutes to the movie on top
Oh my
of
God.
the deleted scenes.
Oh my God.
I think the longest Star Wars movie.
Yeah, like over 2 hours long. Like, it takes a long time. It's like all that editing, making it work. Like a lot of movies, it's about like the editing takes the most amount of time because you have to edit it, and then you have to add the special effects, the visual effects, you know, all that amazing stuff. If you're having a death scene, you have to edit so that the actor doesn't really die in real life. Because believe me, that it's happened in real life. The actors have actually died on set, which sucks. But they mostly they make it so the actor looks like they die, but they didn't really. So the editing takes a long time. But with TV shows, TV shows are a little different. Like, you know, with some TV shows, you get less time per episode, but it's still a long time. You know, over the course of several episodes. Like, I'm not counting animated shows because they take longer, but like live action shows, they take a lot longer. Like, because you have I think the first season of shows, sometimes they don't even, like, I think they don't even happen sometimes. They get canceled or they just never happen. And sometimes a show only filmed for a few weeks or maybe more than that. I don't even know how really the television works. I think it's the same idea, but it's different. Next week we'll talk about that a little more because I don't really quite know a lot about that because I haven't really looked it up. But I imagine it's the same idea. You're getting your actors, you're getting your script per episode because there's a script every episode. And heck, even the actors sometimes direct episodes. Like, seriously, I think it's during Smallville, which is a Superman prequel show, which is great. There was an episode or two, maybe there's one episode where one of the actors actually directed the episode, which is a first, because I feel like that's been, you know, a more common thing where the actors will direct the episode. At least I think that's how it is. Like, for example, Tom Cavanaugh, who was in The Flash, he actually directed an episode of The Flash, which is a first because, or Jon Favreau, who played Happy Hogan in Iron Man, he actually starred in that movie. The director will actually star in the movie, which is a first. I mean, I believe he played Happy Hogan in the first two Iron Man movies, or at least he directed both of them, but he's also, because you can have the director star in the movie he's directing, which is not impossible. I mean, it's a little, like, if you think about it, it's like, how is that possible? How can a director be in the movie?
Probably kind of difficult, because you're not, like, he wouldn't be behind the camera, he'd be focusing on his own acting, and then it would probably involve, like, shooting a lot more takes, and then spending a lot more time editing. It's like,
alright, and action. Okay. Wait, guys. Oh, okay, I'm good. It's like, they yell action, it's like, and then they run out of the camera. It's like, alright, let's do this. That would be weird. It's like, they yell action, it's like, so they're filming themselves directing it. It's really weird. But yeah, I definitely, I like the idea of filmmaking because I've always loved the idea of filmmaking, and the process is huge. If you think about it, it's a huge amount of time to make a movie. I mean, I was watching a video about Jurassic World. That movie, every movie, like, it's kind of weird how every movie nowadays films a year in advance, and there's a reason for it. Like I said before, there's always a reason for that, because it takes a heck of a long time to do it. You got filming, you got location, you got set design. You gotta have the set design, because if you don't have set design, it's like, what are you filming on? Green screen, I think that's the one letdown of movies nowadays, is people use too much green screen. Or motion capture suits, or some movies where the actor is in complete motion capture.
It depends. Like, in some cases, I'm okay with it. Like, I think the motion capture worked really well in, like, the MCU.
Yeah, of course.
But there are some cases where it's like, why did you really didn't need to use CG or green screen or whatever. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Like, for example, in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, the reboot, which I actually liked. I will admit it. I did like that movie. All the actors were in motion capture suits. I mean, that kind of looks weird when you see the motion capture suits, but honestly, when you see it on the screen, it actually looks pretty good, like the TMNT movie.
Right.
I enjoyed it. I honestly, I will admit it, I liked that movie. It was fun. Even the sequel was fun. But they use motion capture, and it looks silly when you see it behind this. It's like, what?
Right.
People in little like shell thingies, like little weird. What are they wearing? And it's like it's like, oh, post production. Okay, I see now. Yeah, they don't look like that in the movie. They look like that after the movie. Or some movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, where the actor will play, or like any other movie where they'll have an animal and it looks so real, and it's like, they look so real.
Right.
That wasn't real. Like, how they motion captured? They it's like, well, that guy was petting, the person was petting that different. It's nothing like that.
Nope, it's not actually a bipedal raccoon. Sorry.
Well, that's actually Sean Gunn. Sean Gunn actually did the motion capture for Rocket Raccoon. I mean, he looks so real, but like that's the power of motion capture. But I feel like some movies, when they were making a movie, I feel like the CGI messes it up too much. The CGI makes it.
Right.
You get too much CGI.
I feel like it's used as a crutch in a lot of movies.
Definitely. I just feel like the example, the Hobbit movies, or heck, even Star Wars, which I'm not gonna complain about Star Wars because I didn't think it was that bad. Honestly, I'm the only one out of a few million who actually like the Star Wars prequels. I thought the CGI, some of the CGI was actually really fun to look at. Like some of the CGI was really nice. I mean, I bet it was a little unnecessary to have, but not all of it was. Some of it was actually really good.
The
like,
pod race is really cool.
Yeah,
I don't like the Phantom Menace, but the pod race is cool.
Some of the CGI, some of the CGI was not the best, but I liked what I saw. Like Jar Jar, he was impressive. He was an impressive character. He was annoying, yeah, but he was an impressive character. And I'm gonna say this: part of making a movie with CGI, I feel like CGI sometimes it's too much. Like, for example, in the movie Mad Max, that movie, like my brother was saying that they added an extra car. It's like, you don't do that. You don't use CGI to make an extra car. Like, come on. Why would you do that?
Oh, we don't have enough cars. We need one more.
It's like, I didn't like that shot. Can we add one more little person there? Here, let's just add another person. Okay. We're like, it's like, that looked good, but can we just, you know what? Chris Pratt, he needs his 6-pack or something. Like, let's add in a CGI 6-pack, because like they actually, I saw a video where Chris Pratt actually lost weight for that, and the James Gunn is like, yeah, we can just go in the computer and just add in you a 6-pack. It's like, really? Like, come on. Like, you're missing so much opportunity there. You don't use CGI to add a 6-pack. Come on. That's the waste of CGI. CGI is not meant for that. CGI is meant for, like, visuals. Come on. I mean, seriously, that CGI is a great thing to have. I mean, a lot of the time, CGI is a good thing to have. Like the Hulk, he's an important character, and without CGI, Hulk wouldn't even be there. I mean, seriously.
Looks at the old 70s of Hulk TV.
I saw little bits of that. It looks awful. Ugh. But yeah.
Pretty bad.
But like an example of bad CGI in like television shows is, like I said before, The Flash, where they CGI The Flash, and it's just like, oh my god, what am I watching? Why did they do that? That's terrible. You know, some CGI just looks awful. Like, oh my god, serious? Like, I think one example of really bad CGI was in King Kong, the 2005 Peter Jackson movie with Jack Black. There was a scene where they're going past dinosaurs, and the actors don't even act like there's dinosaurs there. It's like, oh, we're just running along. It's like, you don't realize there's dinosaurs there, do you? Like, they literally didn't even think there was dinosaurs there. It's like, look behind you. I mean, I understand it's CGI, but you gotta at least you gotta actually try to react to dinosaurs. You can't be like, whatever. But it's like, I'm putting a dinosaur there. It's like if Jurassic Park, you have the actors not react to dinosaurs. It's like it's a dinosaur. I don't see anything. It's like, if you do.
That's a dude in a green green suit.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, as an example of, I mean, some movies it's like look behind you. It's like I don't see anything. What are you talking about? Can I have a reaction? It's like because that makes the movie terrible. So then obviously, finally finishing the movie and distributing to movie theaters, that takes time too because it takes a long time to just distribute to the movies. That takes a long time. It does. I will admit it.
Well, yeah, imagine so, and imagine also like setting up the marketing and everything.
Exactly. That's why movies at a budget because you gotta pay for marketing because red carpet premieres and you have all these events like that and some movie theaters get their movies early, which is I hate that. I'm so sick of that. Some movies people get to see their movies early. It's like come on, it's advertised as this day. Can't you just not do that? Can't you just like here's a review for the movie. I haven't seen it yet. Well, too bad. I saw it already. It's like, come on. Like, there was a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 review that was released before the movie had even come out. Like, come on, it's not even May 5th yet. Come on. Like,
well, that's done for, like, it's basically free advertising for the movie.
Exactly.
And the reviewers all, like, post their reviews, like, a week before the movie comes out.
I'm like, I am so sick of that. It's like, come on. I haven't seen it yet. Well, I guess you don't live in the area that they release movies early to. It's like, well, I'm sorry, but I don't live there. It's like, that's what I hate about marketing, is that they'll release the movie way too early. Or they'll look on the page and be like, movie has been released. No, it hasn't. It hasn't even come out yet. Come on. It's like, got 2 weeks left. I mean, that's the problem with movies, that they get released too early to some theaters, and it's like, I just saw this movie. It hasn't even come out yet, dude. How are you seeing it? I mean, that's the problem. That's
TARDIS.
Yeah. That's like, come on. Also, some movies can just not do well at theaters, and that's what some movies don't like. For example, Avatar, or some movies like where they announce sequels to, and it's like, how do you know they'll do well? And that's Blue People.
The Blue People movie.
They'll like make they'll make movies the process of filmmaking will be like they're making a sequel to the movie that hasn't even come out, hasn't even hit theaters yet. Like some movies they'll be like so and so announces a sequel to so and so. The movie hasn't even come out yet. It's like it's not due for like a month or so. Like, come on, really? I mean, that's the big problem, is that some movies are like that, or recasting. I feel like recasting is a big thing. Like in a good example is in Back to the Future Part 2. They had to recast Marty McFly's girlfriend, and they had to completely reshoot the scenes, and they made it look exactly the same, but it was reshot, and it was like, and you recast someone, it's like, oh my god, are you serious? Or some movies the director will change, and that will impact the movie by a lot. Like, example, X-Men 3, which I actually liked that movie. I liked it. I did like it. It was very fun.
I haven't seen X-Men 3.
It was good. I mean, people
the internet memes.
People didn't like it. People thought it was the worst X-Men movie ever. I don't agree with that. I liked it. I really did like it. I think the reason why some people didn't like it, I saw the video about why it was so bad. I think some of the people thought it was bad because of the director change. I mean, that can be a big thing. If a director, opts out in the next movie, that can make the movie not so good. I mean, that's just what I've experienced. Is some movies can end up really bad because of the director. Because the actor will not they just can't work with the director, and it's like, or the director will just drop out. It's like, you know what, I'm not doing this movie. Or like Batman, it's like the new Batman movie where Ben Affleck was like supposed to direct. It's like, how can that happen? Like, how can Ben Affleck direct a movie how is he doing the acting and directing? Like, he's Batman, but he's also directing the Batman movie. What? That doesn't make sense.
It's Batman. Like, he can do anything.
Obviously, but yeah. I don't really have anything else to say about filmmaking besides there's a lot to it, and I think next week we'll be able to talk about a little more about what other people think about the process of filmmaking. But I think this little part 1, like I said before, this is like a part 1 to the process of filmmaking, because not everyone knows much about it. I mean, I feel like the TV, we get a lot more time. I think that's the big thing with TV, is you get a lot more time. With a lot of shows. Same movie, it's like, 90 minutes to 2 hours, which is, you know, a movie length, and you see a TV show, you get a lot more time to tell a story. With movies, you don't get a lot.
Because of like the episodic structure, there's probably
Yeah.
some differences in like the studio structure and everything.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't know much about
Exactly.
how they do TV shows. So.
Or they'll make a movie based off of a certain millimeter of film. Like, does it really matter?
Right.
Like, this new movie is now using 60 millimeter film instead of 35. So what? There's no difference. Come on. Like, seriously, it does not matter. It's like director is directing a sequel to this movie on 75 millimeter film compared to previous 35 millimeter. Who no one cares.
I don't know what that means. But
I mean, it's like apparently it's the size of the reel of film. I don't really understand it. It's like no one cares. Just make the movie alright. Come on. It does not matter if a movie is based off a different millimeter of film, which I still don't understand. What is that? I mean, neither of us know. Like, what is that? Millimeter of film? It does not matter. Like, at all. Why do people even care? Like,
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. But I guess that's just a thing. I mean, I think one of the movies that didn't do as well based off of how much CGI was in it was Jurassic World. That's an example of a movie that had like some people complain about the CGI. I mean, I understand the practical effects for dinosaurs, but it's really hard to make dinosaurs now. I mean, heck, they've been extinct for millions of years. How are you gonna bring them back to life? I mean, you're gonna have to have some CG. So, yeah, I think that's all I can say about filmmaking. We'll have more to talk about next week, but I mean, TV shows have a lot more. I will admit that. I like TV shows more. They have a lot more time, and they have a lot. Yeah. You can do more with TV shows. You can do a lot more, and you can see them more often. And they're free usually. But
Netflix.
Yeah, pretty much. Of course, Netflix is a big problem because it takes forever for a movie to actually get on their site. But
but whatever.
Yeah, or an animated movie. It's like new sequels. Like, we don't need more sequels. Like Shrek. Like, no more Shrek movies. Like, animation movies are great, but when you make too many of them, it's like it's exhausting. It's like no one's gonna watch that.
Animated films, but
yeah.
Shrek.
But also voice acting. Like, if you're making a movie, an animated movie, voice acting is a big thing. Like Incredibles 2, that's gonna take a couple years, or
I imagine that.
Or like Toy Story 4, that's gonna take a couple years to record dialogue for, because it's a lot of lines. So, you know, but yeah. What were you gonna say?
I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
You said you imagined that something, because you were gonna say something.
I was saying something about animated films, and then I lost my train of thought. And
Okay.
I stopped talking.
But yeah, I think
I'll probably remember as soon as we finish recording.
Animated movies are fun, but when you have voice acting, you have to have, especially if it's hand drawn, that takes a long time. I mean, I think the one movie studio for animation studio that take a lot of time to make a movie is Leica. The movie makes stop motion movies like Coraline, Box Trolls, Kubo, everything like that. They make a lot of.
Watched Kubo
they make
for the first time.
Yeah, they make a really.
So good.
They make a lot of amazing movies. And those movies take a long time. Like Kubo, 1 second of film, 3 weeks to animate. It's a lot of time.
Wow.
That's crazy. I mean, it just shows you how the process of filmmaking can be is a lot of time. Like, it takes. I think if you want to make a character's hand move or go up and down, that's like a whole day of film of animating. Like, holy crap, that's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure we'll have a little more to talk about next week because I'll probably have more people on the show. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little discussion of the process of filmmaking, part 1. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed our take on what we think the process of filmmaking is, and I'm sure you'd like. I'm sure just let us know in the comments what you think of this episode. What do you think how much time does it take for movies to be made? certain movies, because some movies are different. Like Star Wars took a lot more time to film. Like it takes them. It's an interesting concept because Star Wars Episode 8 takes a lot more time to post production than other movies, which is I'm very curious thing about that. Like, why did they do that? It's a mystery to me. So I'm sure we'll know more about that next week. But nevertheless, I hope you did enjoy it. If you did enjoy this episode, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel as well as my second channel, Ultimate Gaming, where I do gaming there. And we will be back next time for part 2 of this. Alright, bye!
Bye-bye!